Okay, everybody. So this video is going to be mandatory for all platinum real estate agents to watch. That's how important that this is. Now let's backtrack a little bit. We launched Platinum DB back in January. To give you guys a little bit of history, those of you who might, you're maybe you are a little newer to platinum real estate. I know some of my agents have been with me 10, 15, 20 years. Platinum DB is nothing new, but I don't want to assume. So we had an old Platinum DB. Now first, what's Platinum DB? Platinum database. You only use Platinum DB when processing closings, when handling the paperwork. When you have a closing, everything goes through Platinum DB. The Georgia Real Estate Commission says when you agent receives any document, you are required to report it to your broker. Let me say that again. The Georgia Real Estate Commission says any document, contract, addendum, inspection, appraisal, amendment to the contract, anything and everything, any document you receive, you are required to report that to your broker. Now, Platinum Real Estate says the way you report it to your broker at Platinum Real Estate is through our system called Platinum DB. Now, 30 years ago, we used to say, give all of the documents to us via fax. Then we went from fax to email. Then about 15 years ago, we created our own custom system called Platinum DB. That system, Platinum DB, was around for about 15 years, and then in January, we gave it this big overhaul. We then said, let's put Platinum DB on steroids. So we did away with the old Platinum DB, and we created the Platinum DB that you guys use and the Platinum DB that you guys know of as today. So the Real Estate Commission says, agent, when you receive any document, you have to report it to your broker. The brokerage firm, Platinum Real Estate, says the way you report any document to us is you have to upload it in our system called Platinum DB. Platinum DB as in database, okay? So, agents, you go out, you find the client. The first thing you should have, if you're dealing with a buyer, you should first have a buyer's brokerage agreement. All buyers, you want a buyer brokerage agreement. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to deal with a buyer without a buyer brokerage agreement. Step one, you get a buyer brokerage agreement. That buyer brokerage agreement says, I, agent, have the legal responsibility to represent you, buyer. When that buyer brokerage agreement is signed, you are to upload it to Platinum DB within 24 hours of that executed contract. Any contract, anything you receive, you are to upload it to Platinum DB within 24 hours of receipt. When you receive it and you upload it within 24 hours, the closing department will approve it or not approve it within 24 hours. Listings. You meet somebody for a listing appointment. The first thing you should have for all listings is a signed listing agreement. You upload the signed listing agreement to Platinum DB. within 24 hours of that listing agreement getting signed. Okay? So, same thing with the lease, rental. Same thing with the rental. You go out, you meet a prospective tenant. They say, yes, help me find this rental property. Again, the first thing that you have signed is what? Buyer brokerage agreement. Okay? So the first thing you should have is a legal document saying, I have the legal authority to represent you. Whether it's a buyer, whether it's a listing, I have the legal responsibility to represent you. So the first thing I have to do when I get that buyer brokerage agreement or when I get that listing, I go into Platinum DB and I create a transaction. Okay? Now, after the buyer brokerage agreement, then I have the sales contract, I have the earnest money. Let me stop right there. Okay? Whether I have a listing or whether I am representing the buyer, at some point throughout the transaction, I should have excuse me, I should have a contract. And that contract should have earnest money attached to it. The Georgia Real Estate Commission says when you receive earnest money, you have to deposit that earnest money within 24 hours of receipt. If Platinum Real Estate is holding the earnest money, you have to deposit it within 24 hours of receipt. If another brokerage firm is holding the earnest money, that's fine too. You still have to deposit it within excuse me. If another brokerage firm is holding the earnest money, that's fine. But you still need a copy of the earnest money check. So let's say Platinum Real Estate, I'm not holding the earnest money. Another real estate company is holding the earnest money. Or maybe a attorney is holding the earnest money. That's fine, but I still need a copy of the earnest money check. I have to contact that other agent and I have to say, agent, give me a copy of the earnest money check for my file. So rather Platinum Real Estate's holding the earnest money, rather somebody else is holding the earnest money, you have to have a copy of that earnest money uploaded in Platinum Real Estate in Platinum DB within 24 hours. Okay. The only exception, if the contract says that the earnest money will be deposited in 2 days or 3 days, or if it's a major holiday, let's say it's Christmas, you cannot deposit December the 25th. You deposit December the 26th. That's fine. By December the 27th, you have to upload a copy of that earnest money to Platinum DB. Now, the closing department is open from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. every day. Every business day, excluding holidays and weekends. So when you upload a document, the closing department will approve or not approve that document that day, excluding holidays and weekends. I have agents contact me and say, hey, I uploaded this document at 9 a.m. It's now 10 a.m. It's not approved. No, it's not approved because the closing department have a lot of documents, have a lot of deals that they deal with on a daily basis. They will get to it before the end of the day. But they might not get to yours at 9 o'clock in the morning. They may not get to yours at 10 o'clock in the morning because there's other documents ahead of yours. But by 4 p.m. on that day, they will approve the document. Okay? Now, why am I saying this? Agents, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot upload 9 documents the day of closing expecting to get paid on time. You cannot upload 9 documents the day of closing expecting to get paid on time. Agents, you cannot upload 9 documents the day of closing expecting to get paid on time. When you upload earnest money, and I'm going to use earnest money as an example, when you upload earnest money, especially if we are holding the earnest money, the closing department, you should upload a copy of the check. You should also upload a copy of the deposit slip. The closing department actually goes into our account and verifies that, number one, the deposit was made, and number two, that the deposit cleared. If you upload a copy of the earnest money the day of the closing, which means you're extremely late, the closing department won't take a whole bunch of time trying to research this earnest money because you're late. Upload all documents 24 hours of receipt. Get everything approved early so there's no delays. Again, get everything approved early so there's no delays. So everything that you receive, upload it, get it approved within 24 hours. So at the end of the transaction, all you have to deal with is the closing check, and that's it. Okay? Not only will it make your deal easier, not only will you get paid on time, but that's also the policy and the procedures of the corporation. This allows things to run smoothly. So, buyer brokerage agreement, upload, contract, upload, earnest money, appraisal, the buyer pre-approval letter, anything and everything, amendments, everything gets uploaded early. You get it approved early. The settlement statement per RESPA, you're supposed to have that 72 hours before closing. Upload the settlement statement early. Get it approved early. Now, I know some of you guys might say, "Hey, Luther, in some situations, the closing attorney or the mortgage company gives me the settlement statement the day of closing." If that happens, do not blame us for the delay in processing the closing. It's not Platinum Real Estate's fault. It's the mortgage company that you choose. It's the closing attorney that you chose. It's their fault, not Platinum's fault. So let's back into this. The closing department processes all documents, approves all documents within 24 hours of receipt. It's your responsibility to be that pit bull and to say, "Hey, closing attorney, I need that settlement statement 72 hours before closing." "Hey, mortgage company, I need that mortgage company, I need this settlement statement 72 hours before closing. Give me the settlement statement early so I can give it to my broker so I can get it approved so there's no delays on me getting paid." If you turn in the settlement statement and a copy of the check on the same day, expect a delay. It's not Platinum's fault. RESPA, the RESPA law says you're supposed to have that settlement statement 72 hours early so that your client can review it, so you can review it, and so everybody can agree this is the numbers for the deal. Okay? So you should say, "Hey, now I get it. We don't live in the perfect world. Sometime closing is coming up. Stuff happened. and the settlement statement is just late. Maybe it's the mortgage company's fault. Maybe it's our buyer's fault. Maybe it's the closing attorney. Whatever. But if you're turning things into the closing department late, don't then say, hey, closing department, I need my check, I need my check, I need my money, process it, process it, process it, when you turned in all of the documents late. You turned in the settlement statement with the closing check, right? Some of you guys will turn in the contract, the earnest money, the addendums, everything the day of closing. If you do that, number one, you are breaking the policy and procedures of this corporation. There will be a 72-hour delay for you to get paid. I'm putting everybody on notice. This is nothing new. It's been the policy and procedures for over 20 years now. But as Platinum family, we try our best to go ahead and process it. Even though you give us the earnest money and the closing check at the same time, the closing department still tries to process it timely. And then you text me, you call me wanting your money, but you did not do what you were supposed to do early on in the game. Okay? You did not follow the policy and procedures, and now you want to try to stress me. Okay? All right? Also, you guys, sometimes the question becomes, hey, how do I upload a document? Or sometimes the question becomes, what do I do next? If you are in the coaching program, feel free to contact me. That's what I'm here for. I will help you step by step on what to do. Again, if you are in the coaching program, feel free to contact me. But whether you're in the coaching program or the 100% program, there's tutorials. There's step-by-step tutorials on how to use Platinum DB, from uploading documents to what you do step 1, then step 2, then step 3. Everything is in a video tutorial in Platinum DB. Watch the tutorials. Follow the instructions. You won't have a problem. Let me say that again. Watch the tutorials. Follow the instructions. You will not have a problem. So let's back into this. Step number 1, whenever you get a document, upload it early. If you have a question on how on how to upload it, there's video tutorials that will show you. Here's what you do step 1. Here's what happens step 2. Here's what happens step 3. Let me mention this. Once you upload all documents, once all documents are approved, you have to go into the transaction and ask for broker's approval. This step, many times, a lot of agents miss this. So there's mandatory documents that you have to have uploaded to get paid. If you ask for broker's approval before all mandatory documents are before they're uploaded, you will receive a not approved for that transaction. So step 1, you start the transaction. Step 2, upload all mandatory documents. Again, all mandatory documents. Don't miss any of them. Once all mandatory documents they're approved, then you say, I am submitting this transaction for broker approval. The closing department looks over the entire transaction and says, yes, this transaction is approved. At that time, you can then complete the RFC request for commission. You cannot request commission if the entire transaction hasn't been approved. So if there's a document that's missing, the closing department might say, hey, you can't do RFC because we are not doing, when we looked at the broker review, you missed a couple of documents. So because of that, you cannot do the RFC, okay? But again, video tutorials, all of the video tutorials is in the system, all right? Everything you have to do, the mandatory checklist, every document you have to upload, everything is in the system. Watch the videos, read the information. It's all there. Now, let me mention this as well. If you upload a document, and let's say, for instance, it's not signed by all parties, the closing department will say, not approved. If you have a document that's not approved, you cannot upload the corrected document under the same category. So you can't just edit that document and say, hey, closing department, approve it. No. Once that document says not approved, that document is not approved forever. It can never go from not approved to approved. Again, let me make this very clear. Once a document in Platinum DB is marked as not approved, it's not approved forever. So I upload a document. So I upload the sales contract. Oops, I forgot to sign it. So the closing department says not approved. Cool. That document is not approved, is not approved forever. Forget it. Leave that one alone. You go out. You get everything signed. The new contract, you go into Platinum DB, you click sales contract, and you upload a brand new sales contract. That one will say approved. So in the system, you have one sales contract that says not approved. Why? It was never signed by all parties. You have a second contract that says approved, that was signed by all parties. If you try to upload, so if you submit a document and that document comes back as not approved, if you upload another contract to replace that contract, the closing department will never know it, and your transaction will stay there forever. You have to upload a brand new document for a totally new approval. Okay? So once the document is approved, it's approved, you're good to go, move on.
It's 9 o'clock.
If the document is not approved, you have to go and you have to upload a totally new document. Next thing, you cannot upload multiple documents under a tab. So if you say I want the sales contract approved, you can upload only the sales contract. That's it. So when you click sales contract, the only thing you can upload is the sales contract only. If you upload the sales contract, the appraisal, the earnest money, the closing department is going to say, hey, not approved, because this is not just the sales contract. You uploaded 4 other things. So, and I know some of you agents say, well, the other agent sent me 3 things. Okay, whatever, separate it, print it out, upload it back in your computer, one document at a time, and and submit one document. So when you want the earnest money approved, upload only the earnest money. Okay? When you want the settlement statement approved, upload only the settlement statement. That's it. If you upload multiple documents, it will come back as not approved every single time. So when dealing with Platinum DB, upload one document for approval. Upload one document within 24 hours of receipt. So when you receive a document, upload that one document as soon as you get it. Don't hold on to it. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. One thing that kills me with agents, you guys want to procrastinate and upload 15 documents at one time, but then you want the closing department to go through your entire mess within one day and pay you the next day. That's not fair. Life does not work like that. When you receive a document, upload it timely. Okay? Get it approved timely. Now, let me also mention this. If you have a document that's not approved for some reason, the closing department will tell you in the notes why the document is not approved. For instance, if you upload the sales contract and the earnest money, it's not going to get approved, and the closing department will probably say not approved because you have uploaded multiple documents. What do you want approved here? Do you want the sales contract approved, or do you want the earnest money approved? You cannot upload both. Upload one. Then you have to re-upload the sales contract. Under category, you click sales contract. You upload just the sales contract only. The closing department will then approve it. Let's say, for instance, you forgot to sign it, or the seller forgot to sign it, or the client forgot to sign it. The closing department will make a note, not approved because it's not executed. It's not signed. Go back and correct it. Again, that document's not approved. You can never deal with that one again. Upload a brand new one. Okay? All right, you guys. Questions, anyone? You can unmute yourself. If you have questions, you can unmute yourself.
I have a question. If I have a sales contract and everybody has signed it except for the abstract company that's going to hold the escrow, should I just wait to get that signature before I upload that?
No. They don't. So if there's a, so for instance, is if Platinum Real Estate is holding the earnest money, we don't sign the contract. So let's back into this. The buyer, the seller, the listing broker, the buyer broker, all those folks sign it. Who's holding the earnest money don't sign the contract.
Okay, well, there was a spot for, there was a spot for that person, or I mean, there was a spot on the sales contract. The listing agent did up the contract, and there's a spot for that company to sign, but in other words, I can upload that document to Platinum DB because everybody else has signed it. The seller, buyer.
No. Executed contract means executed, meaning this: whoever is involved in the transaction, who have to sign the contract, before it is considered executed. So you have to say, hey, if in that contract the closing attorney is supposed to sign, the closing attorney have to sign. I would be very interested to see that, but I will go off of what you're asking me. A executed contract, meaning all parties that's required to sign must sign to be executed. Is if all parties haven't signed, it's not executed. So you cannot upload it into DB until all parties have signed and executed the document. So in your situation, from what you're telling me, I haven't seen it, right? But from what you're telling me, one party that's on the contract that's required to sign have not signed. In that case, your contract is not executed, meaning you cannot upload it to DB. It will not get approved until all parties that's required to sign have signed. So the answer to
Okay,
the
and
question is you need to get it executed and then upload it to Platinum DB. Because according
okay,
to what you're telling me, you do not have an executed contract.
okay, I understand. And then, so then I'm gonna wait until, for that executed contract until I upload it, and I'm gonna wait until I upload that executed contract before I upload the buyer brokerage agreement.
No, you're talking about two totally different things. The buyer brokerage agreement is totally different than the executed contract. So that's the point that I have been making here. If you do a buyer brokerage agreement, when it's executed, you upload it. They have nothing to do with the contract. The contract have nothing to do with the buyer brokerage agreement. The buyer brokerage agreement have nothing to do with the contract. And I think that's the point that I'm making, and that's the point that I want everybody to understand. When you have any contract, let's forget buyer brokerage agreement, sales contract amendment, or whatever. When you receive anything, upload it within 24 hours. Case in point, if the bank,
I have a question. Hello?
oh, 1 second. If the bank says this person is pre-qualified and they give you that pre-qualification in writing, you upload it at that time. The buyer brokerage agreement, when everybody signs it, upload it at that time. Sales contract, upload it at that time. Does that make sense? Okay, next question.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
It makes sense? Okay, good. The next person, question?
Yeah, if you have like a very quick closing and you have to like upload everything at one time, how long should it take to get review?
Well, I mean, listen, again, that's not Platinum Real Estate's problem. That's the problem of you did not manage your transaction properly. There's no such thing as a quote unquote quick closing. There's no such thing. If you do a cash deal, the quickest it's going to take is 7 days. That in real estate, the quickest it can happen is 7 days. If you're a good agent, you have 7 days to get everything approved. There's no such thing as a quote unquote quick deal. That's my point. If you're a good agent handling the policy and procedures, you got the sales contract, the earnest money, all that happened 7 days ago. 7 days ago. So there's no such thing as a quick closing. So this question can never happen. Typically, a cash closing takes 14 days. On average, a cash closing takes 14 days. Now, I have had some cash closings take 7 days, right? But I get a copy of the sales contract. I get a copy of the earnest money. If there's going to be a appraisal, I get all of that 4 or 5 days before closing. So look, RESPA says you have to have the RESPA statement 3 days before closing. It don't matter if it's cash. It don't matter if it's financing. You got to have the settlement statement 3 days before closing. There's no such thing as a quick closing. So the question is, what if it's a quick closing? There's no such thing. Per RESPA law, it's supposed to be 3 days. So even if it's a cash closing, I'm going to get the contract, the earnest money, appraisal. I'm going to get everything approved 3 days before closing. So when it comes time for closing, all I'm going to do, submit that check. That check clears the bank. Next day, that money's in my account, done deal. So there's no such thing as a quick closing. Okay. Next question.
I have another question. This might sound stupid, but when you're saying upload one document at a time to DB, you can upload, let's just say, the escrow copy, check copy. That's one document. I mean, you can upload another document on the same day, right? You just have to, do you have to like go out of DB and then go back into it, or you're just uploading it under a different category?
No. I am saying upload different categories. So is if you are depositing the earnest money, you can deposit the earnest money. You can also deposit a copy of the deposit slip. Two totally different categories. So first you upload the earnest money, ask for approval. Then you upload the deposit slip, ask for approval. So you can upload 3 or 4 documents, but you cannot upload 3 or 4 documents under the same category. So you upload the earnest money, then you upload the deposit slip, right? The closing department will approve both documents totally separate, and you can upload 3 or 4 documents in one day. That's fine, as long as you receive 3 or 4 in one day. Okay, you don't want to hold on to documents and then try to upload all of these documents at the last minute. Okay, questions? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was wondering where the videos are so that I can, view the tutorials on how to use Platinum DB. I wasn't able to find anything but one introductory video that didn't really go into the details of everything.
There's about 8 or 9 videos. Just log into Platinum DB. They're all right there. I personally recorded every video myself. I personally uploaded every video myself. I guarantee you every one of them's there because I personally did it myself. This way I would say, log into DB or when you have some time, take your time.
I'm in DB
around.
right now.
Okay, well,
And
miss, this is a coaching call for all agents, so I cannot walk you through this at this time, unfortunately. But miss, I personally recorded all of them. They are definitely there. Please please tag me later, and I will try to walk you through it. But I can't walk you through it now because I have over 80 agents on the line, and I can't take up their time trying to walk you through a DB. Okay. Thank you. Hey, next question. Hey, we're running out of time, you guys. My coaching call is run out of time. Do I have any questions real quick? Okay, I have a question here. Luther, is she referring to sign the agreement to all earnest money? Yes. So is I think that the question that I have here in the chat, somebody saying something about agree to hold earnest money. So I think that's an excellent question. So let's say you complete a form that says who agrees to hold earnest money. So the contract, there's some contracts that it states directly in the contract who's going to hold the earnest money. Some of the time there's addendums or there's separate forms to explain who's going to hold the earnest money. Here's the point that I'm making. Anything that all parties agree to, any form, any document that all parties sign, you need to get approved. Okay? Whether it's a form, whether it's an addendum, even if it's a pre-approval letter, get it uploaded and approved in Platinum DB. Here's another point that I want to make. Okay? Don't only worry about the mandatory documents. because the mandatory documents are mandatory to get approved. But if you have a deal that's outside the box, the closing department could say, yes, we need all of these mandatory documents, but for your specific deal, we need an additional document because of the way that your deal is put together. Does that make sense? So here's my point. It's better to upload too much than not enough. So everything that's mandatory is mandatory. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to get those things approved. But the closing department can say, hey, you know what? You have a unique deal. And because of your deal, you should also have this document approved as well. Okay? So my point is, anything that you have in a deal, upload it, get it approved. Here's how it works. If we are ever audited by the Georgia Real Estate Commission, when they come in to audit your deal, they're going to say, broker, show us every document dealing with this deal. And we're going to go into Platinum DB. We're going to download all the documents and we're going to give it to the commission. It's better to have too much than not enough. I have had situations where I was emailing back and forth and the other agent made a comment via email. I would upload that to Platinum DB. So if there's ever a question or if there's ever a problem under other, I would upload it to Platinum DB to cover me. You know that old saying, CYA, cover your own assets. That's me, y'all. So it's best to upload too much than not enough. Now, the mandatory documents, you have to have those to get paid. For instance, copy of the contract, copy of the earnest money, that's just mandatory. But the close department could go over your deal and they could state, hey, listen, because of your deal, you should have this. Let me give you a perfect example. Your deal is supposed to close July 1st. The deal doesn't close July 1st. It closes July 5th. You need an amendment to the contract that says, hey, the deal isn't going to close July 1st. The deal is going to close July 5th. If you submit that to the closing department and say, pay me, the closing department is going to say, hey, this is not a mandatory document, but obviously this deal didn't close on time. It didn't close on July 1st. It closed 5 days later. Where is the amendment to the contract that states everybody agreed this could close 5 days later? Getting my point, okay? Is that a mandatory document? No, it's not a mandatory document, but it's a necessary document for your particular deal. So the closing department can say, hey, we're not going to pay you until you have an amendment that everybody agreed that the closing is going to not happen on July 1st, but it's going to happen on July 5th. Where's the document that says because it didn't happen on the 1st, it's happening on the 5th. We need a amendment that states that it's going to be pushed back 3 or 4 days. Okay. Same thing with anything. Okay. Question. As I'm gonna do that. Okay. All right. Question, everybody. Questions? Any other questions? All right, you guys. Hey, listen, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Everybody, enjoy your holidays. I know I am looking forward to mine. I know I am looking forward to this time.